These are 15-year-old relics which have been forgotten. Maybe before their time of usefulness is up. Hello, I'm Charles Bickford. This is an air raid shelter, vintage early 1940s. When it was finally sealed up in August of 1945, it was with the fervent hope that it would never again have to be reopened. But today's headlines are shaking that dream, and that's the reason for tonight's story. Let's call it a reminder that some of the guardians of democracy did not get medals for their work. They did not get headlines, they did not get applause. All they got was a quiet vote of thanks and the satisfaction of a job well done. Such was the case in 1942, when there was a scarcity of meat, butter, and policemen. Such was the case when a semi-retired police officer became head of the civilian police department at the Cedar Point Naval Air Base. Meet Captain Alvin R. Randall, tonight's man behind the badge. In April of 1942, one of the enemies of the United States was the German army, which was spread-eagled across Europe. Another enemy, the Japanese army, was straddling the Pacific Islands. And a third enemy was at work within the confines of the continental United States. One branch of this unseen enemy was planning its next move in an automobile, driving along a lonely stretch of road along the Maine coastline.
I assure you these precautions are quite necessary, Herr Mannheim.
You don't have to tell me.
Some things bear constant repeating.
All I want to know is who's complaining. I'm doing a good job.
You're too suspicious of your friends, Herr Mannheim. The work you're doing for the Third Reich is highly regarded.
Well, that's different.
So highly regarded, in fact, that you're being transferred.
But I'm not done at the bomber plant. I've got plans.
Herr Mannheim, I'd like to remind you that you do not make plans. You merely carry out orders.
Yes.
That's better. Now, this job is more important. You'll report to work on Monday at Patuxent, Maryland. They're constructing a new naval base. You are to assist them.
Yes, sir.
You'll retain your same identity and proceed along the lines outlined in this note. You'll commit it to memory before we leave here.
Yes, sir.
You seem a little hesitant.
I shall act without question. Heil Hitler.
Heil Hitler.
When a wartime naval base is being constructed, a town grows up around it fast. A town which is reminiscent of the frontier towns of the 1800s. Tough towns. And the men who walk them walk hard. When a naval base is being constructed, the cop in charge has a job on his hands, and a jail on the base he would like to keep empty.
What do you expect me to do about it?
You've got 4 of my key men locked up in your jail. I need them.
I've told you to lay the law down to those men, Anderson.
They put in a hard week's work, Captain. They gotta blow off a little steam.
Blow off a little steam? Drunk and disorderly, malicious mischief, assault? Well, those men practically tore the commissary apart.
If we're ever gonna get this base finished, I gotta have those men.
Look, this is a record of absenteeism of the men under you.
They're not in the Navy, Randall. If they don't show up, there's nothing I can do about it.
Well, here's the accident rate in machine failures due to negligence.
I didn't come here for a lecture. I came to get my men out of jail.
Look, I was hired to keep order here and to keep the work rolling. This base is supposed to protect Washington, D.C. when it's finished. With a report like this, we might as well be working for the Germans.
Are you questioning my loyalty?
Your ability. Unless you learn to control your men, I'm going to suggest we get somebody who can. Jason, release Ludell, Boyle, Elwood, and Hickman. Yeah, right away.
I'll drive them home in a Jeep.
Drive carefully, Anderson. All of your key workers have got hangovers.
The building of this particular naval base had many complications. An 8-square-mile wooded area had to be cleared. Runways had to be built. Barracks, mess halls, machine shops, and hangars. and it had to be built fast. There was only a small amount of time allotted for the margin of error, and that time was being used up fast.
What's your problem?
I don't know. She's working fine, and suddenly she jammed up.
I'll fix it and get back to work.
Here's what done it. She stripped bad.
What was this doing in there?
Well, how should I know?
Well, now, what's up?
This lunker thinks I put this in the machinery on purpose.
Oh, he didn't say that, did you, Mr. Anderson?
Well, somebody put it in there. It didn't jump in by itself.
Maybe one of the cleaners, by mistake.
I don't need any help from you, Boyle. Get back to your machine.
Yes, sir.
This is the second machine you fouled up in the last 3 weeks.
It's not my fault, I tell you.
You might as well take the rest of the day off.
But I need the dough.
Well, then in the future, be more careful. Get that drill press finished. You're way behind schedule.
I may just be reading things into it. I don't know.
Let's see what you're going on.
Well, my instructions were if I had any suspicions of sabotage, I was to contact the FBI. Well, I'm suspicious.
We'll do a check for you.
Here's a report of machine failures due to accidents. Nothing to go on, but there's just too many of them.
All in the same department?
No, but the men are constantly being shifted from one section to another.
Mm-hmm. What's total employment?
10,000, maybe more.
Well, that'll take a while. We'll start with a fingerprint check on anybody employed here whose prints are registered with the department, a rundown on any with a previous history, and a background check on the rest.
Anything I can do to help?
Just keep your eyes open. That's about all till we get something definite.
In time of war, the Federal Bureau of Investigation works a 24-hour day. If there is suspected sabotage on a construction job, their work is doubly difficult. For the men employed were mostly transient workers, a floating population without too solid a background. A list of 10,000 workers to check was a difficult task. The first job was to investigate those whose prints were on file with the FBI. When the enemy was Germany, then all those workers with a Germanic lineage had to be checked, for it was a favorite trick of the Nazis to use relatives in Germany as blackmail, to make their American relatives become enemy agents. Friends and acquaintances of all persons even slightly suspected were questioned. All suspicious movements were duly recorded. It's a back-breaking job, but a necessary one. And in time of war, it takes men willing to work around the clock to accomplish it.
We're about 2/3 through our investigation. Could speed things up if you came up with something more definite.
What I've got, it's all in my reports.
We've checked 8,000 so far. 180 of them are slightly suspect. Maybe they'll reveal something.
There must be something more I can do except sit here and stew.
Keep in contact with us. You'll hear from me if we come up with anything.
Look, I'm going into town. I'll drop you off at the station.
Appreciate it.
Say, there's a woman, a friend of mine, runs a social club. I think I'll have a talk with her. She hears lots of things.
Well, remember, we're not fighting a stupid enemy. Any agent they send, he'll be smart enough to hide right in the open.
This friend of mine, if a man's got any secrets, he's got to really concentrate to hide them from her.
Well, hello, Al.
Hello, Carla.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Come in. Want a drink?
No, thank you.
It's been a long time since you've dropped in, Al.
I've been busy.
I've been obeying all the laws, haven't I?
That wasn't why I came.
You sound rather mysterious.
Carla, I have reason to believe that somebody working on the construction job is working for the wrong team.
Uh-huh.
You, heard any rumors?
No.
Seen anyone you might have known years ago in Germany?
No, and if I did, you would have heard about it.
Carla, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to see if you can find a hint as to who might be hiding something.
Al. Every man who comes to my place has something to hide.
You know what I mean.
Yes, I do.
I've told the FBI that I'm enlisting your help. They'll probably run a loyalty check on you.
I've done it before.
I gave you an A1 rating.
If they really want to know my feelings, have them check out my parents.
Your parents?
Yes. They can be reached through the Red Cross in care of a concentration camp, Buchenwald.
Knock off for 5 minutes.
No smoking around here. Now, what do you want to show me?
There. There, feel that.
How many barrels like this?
5 out of 5. Took us 2 weeks to get delivery, and now we can't use it.
Lubricating oil loaded with sand.
I think you ought to send a report to the company you got the stuff from. Tell them they got sloppy workers and we ain't gonna pay for it.
I'll do that, Anderson. Because I'm going to make certain that somebody does pay for it.
Captain Alvin Randall of the Cedar Point Naval Base was now sure that most of the accidents which had been reported were anything but accidents. And his hunch of sabotage was a lot more substantial now. The big problem was that no matter how many extra guards he put on, the sabotage continued.
This is Dr. Lewis.
I've been waiting for your call, Doctor.
Sorry to have kept you waiting. I've read the report on your physical checkup.
How am I doing?
Your heart seems to have slowed down a bit.
Did you know that my asthma is bothering me? That there are so many people around with colds that I'm liable to catch one?
I wouldn't let them bother you. In fact, a little more exercise won't hurt you. I strongly suggest it. Especially since I'll want to make one final test in about 2 weeks.
Will this be the last test?
Yes. Yes, and if you pass this one, you'll have nothing to worry about.
I have nothing to worry about now.
True. But this last test is very important. Call you. Bye.
So long.
But you must have found something.
Nothing.
Well, there can't be any doubt now that it's sabotage.
Oh, we didn't have too much doubt before, Captain. That isn't the problem.
Well, what is?
We looked for an enemy agent, a man smuggled into the country for the purpose of sabotaging the war effort.
And?
We were wrong. He wasn't smuggled in. He's been here all the time. See, we figure it's a native-born American. Probably never been out of the country. Just working for the wrong side.
Well, that could be anybody.
Just about.
Well, what is it this time?
The trucks. Somebody got in here with a 10-pound sack of sugar.
You're not making sense.
Poured it in the gas tanks. Not one of these is going to be able to move for at least a week.
I want a list of every man who's been near these trucks.
It's going to be a long list.
What do you mean?
Well, there's no guard on the door.
No check on who goes in and out of here?
It's just a garage, Captain. Drivers, mechanics, loaders, unloaders, cleaning men, construction workers, and security officers.
That's enough, Anderson. I'll see that the guard is put on.
I'm waiting for some men to get started on these engines. I'll keep a close watch on them.
I've closed a lot of barn doors in the last month and a half. But the horse has always been gone.
Your work at the naval base is almost over.
Well, that's good. Because things are getting pretty tight around here. A million cops crawling around the place.
I'm sure you exaggerate.
There's plenty.
Nervous? This envelope has your final instructions.
It's gonna be tough. The way they've set up...
I didn't come here to hear excuses. Just do it.
Yes, sir.
Tired, Al?
I'm beat. This town is a jungle, Carla. There's enough crime here to keep a big city force going for a year. If that isn't enough, I've got to have a Nazi rally.
Boys, what's going on here?
This guy says some things I don't like to hear.
It was just a misunderstanding, Carter.
Maybe you'd like to repeat it before I tear you apart. That uniform won't protect you.
Oh, no, wait. If you want to fight, go outside.
What's
yeah?
it all about?
Lou Dell here's had a little bit too much to drink.
I'll knock it out of him.
Better get him out, huh, Captain?
I don't want anybody pulling a knife when you get outside. You settle it here. What's the beef, sailor?
This lunkhead seems to think we'd be better off making a deal with the Germans.
You say that?
I just said the Russians made a deal with the Germans. If it's deals they're looking for, we'd make them one.
Wait a minute. The English language is sometimes difficult to understand. A deal can be both, good or bad, right?
Sure. What kind of a deal did you mean? I meant we should deliver our deal with bombs. Mister, I owe you a drink.
All right, the bar's over there.
This go on every night?
Sure. Every night.
Got anything for me?
I've tried, Al, but I...
No, don't worry. One of these days, this rat will stick his head out of his hole, and when he does...
For a week, Captain Randall studied the reports which his operatives handed him, and slowly they started to fall into place. After 2 all-night sessions, he had a list of 4 names. 4 men who seemed to need special watching. The first man was Joseph T. Arcola. Occupation, day laborer. On 3 successive days, he was seen to make quick phone calls. Phone calls which always made him nervous. The second was Lawrence Boyle, age 37, occupation mechanic. On 2 different occasions, he was seen at the railroad terminal, reading somebody else's newspaper. The third was Thomas Bentley Anderson, age 43, occupation foreman. His movements were duly recorded by Captain Randall. The fourth was Rocco Cusetta. He had received a letter, an important letter which he constantly referred to. Captain Randall called for a meeting with both Carla and Dexter. He told them that he had 4 names.
Why don't you just fire all 4 of them?
Even the innocent ones?
No, of course not. Not the innocent ones.
Remember, I have nothing definite. It's just that, well, some things just don't look right.
Well, we can't afford to overlook anything.
Well, here goes. For some reason, my foreman, Mr. Anderson, seems to have a extra income. 5 times during the week, I've seen him get paid off.
I can help you there. Your foreman is booking the prize fights in town, making quite a haul, too.
Okay, that accounts for him. Now, the second is a guy by the name of Rocky Cusetta. He's as nervous as a cat. He's got a letter he must have read 1,000 times.
Forget him. That letter was sent by our boss. He's being drafted.
Joe Arcola. Nothing definite, but he excuses himself from the job at odd hours to make phone calls. Quick phone calls.
They've got to be quick. He's a married man with 5 children. His calls go, let's say, to a lady friend.
Well, that leaves Lawrence Boyle. I've had reports that twice he's been seen at the railroad station at 2 in the morning. But he never asks about a train, just sits for 10 minutes and leaves.
I can't help there.
Neither can I.
We better do another check on him.
Well, if it isn't him, then we're dead. Here, I'll check with my office. Charlie, Captain Randall, what's the latest report on Lawrence Boyle? I'll wait. Yes? What do you mean he's on the night shift? Oh, I don't care what it says. He's a day shift man. When? Tonight. Thanks. We better get over to the base right away.
Oh, thanks for the help.
8 square miles of this base. He can be any place.
Does he have to tell where he's going to work when he checks in at the gate?
No, but he must be figuring something big.
Could he cause construction to come to a standstill?
Disabling the trucks. I know that takes 10 days. Could set fire to the barracks.
There's a wind tonight.
Couldn't burn out more than a couple of buildings.
Anything here top secret?
No. In order to really hurt us, he could... Here. The power plant.
Let's go.
Show your pass.
I'm supposed to report to Foreman Anderson.
He's down in the basement.
Right. Be out in a minute.
Boyle! Boyle, I know you're in there. Come out with your hands up.
Take a look around outside. See if you got anybody with you.
Yes, sir. I'm bleeding, Randall. You gotta get me a doctor.
You said that.
We can't wait. I'm bleeding to death.
Mister, if you're scared enough to drop that phony accent, you must have a good reason. Why can't we wait?
We can't wait. We can't wait.
Mister, I want an answer fast. You're gonna lay here.
Take a doctor half an hour to get here.
No, it's too long. Please.
Well, we'll just tie him up until he decides to...
No. No.
What's it set for?
No. No.
Why, Boyle? I'm curious. Why did you work for them?
Don't rush. You got about 15 years to think of a good answer. Come on.
Lawrence Boyle, whose real name was Carl Mannheim, a native-born American with Nazi sympathies, was convicted and sentenced to 15 years in a federal penitentiary. His immediate superior, Mr. Lubeck, also a native-born American with strange ideas of what is right and what is wrong, received a like sentence after involving the rest of the ring. Captain Alvin Randall continued on the job. There were no medals, and none were expected. For he, like millions of his fellow Americans, knew that democracy can only protect the people if the people work to protect democracy. To him, and to every man who shares that responsibility, our thanks. And now this is Charles Bickford inviting you to be with us next week. And once again, you will see another authentic story of one whose duty it is to serve. A public servant dedicated to you, and whom you will meet as the man behind the badge.